Don't keep trying. All right, how are you tonight? I'm sorry I couldn't say for you. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. I really enjoyed the testimony from my brother and all the international events that's gone on before. And I'm intrigued to understand that many of us in here are like the UN. And we are from many different places. And in our own native tongue, we have probably different languages as well. But we've decided to come to America. You know what America means? I am race. Oh, that's nice. I never heard that before. That's good. Yeah. It's a miracle. America, a miracle. A miracle means that all people from all over the world can come together in one place and different nationalities and be one family. One family. And we say on our dollar bill, one family under God, or one nation under God. One nation under God. Have you heard the news?
Yes.
What?
The new dollar bill.
Hey! We have a new $20 bill. And it is dedicated to an incredible lady who were only about 5'1" or 2. She carried a shotgun that was taller than her. And she freed over 3,000 slaves. And interestingly enough, I want to give you a little bit of American history since you have so many foreigners here. I want to give you a little bit of American history because Andrew Jackson is on the front of the $20 bill now. Do you know the history of Andrew Jackson? Well, he became the president of the United States, and he was a pure racist and a slaveholder. And he was the one that did not like black Americans being equal to white Americans. Neither did he love Indians at all. The American Native Indians was also living here at that time. And he created what we call the Trail of Tears. These were Native Americans who were marched off to their death. Many of them. Less than half of them made it. This was a real problem. And even the Supreme Court, the United States Supreme Court, gave permission that they would be able to assimilate with Americans and not be isolated. But he said, I'm the president, let them try to keep their promise. And he killed so many people. So my point is, by him being on the front of the dollar bill, and Harriet Tubman now is coming on, Andrew Jackson has been moved to the back of the bill, and she's on the front of the bill. Is that interesting? That's interesting because we don't want to get rid of a situation that you don't understand it, but we want you to be educated. That's important. And I understand this is one of the first women will be put on bills, which is a changing of the guard, so to speak. Let's give God. So that's important to know that you'll be spending something that's very historic from now on. The other thing is, we are from all over the world, but all of us, as you heard the testimony, came from two people. Am I talking too fast? Can you understand me? Everybody in this room came from two people. We call those two people Adam and Eve. And around 6,000 years or more have now created the whole human race from those two people, two couples that we call Adam and Eve. Now, Adam and Eve was a family because they had children, right? And those children have been scattered all over the world, and they're all different colors, and they all speak different languages by now, 6,000 or more years later, right? But the bottom line is, listen to this, this is important. The bottom line is that all of us in this room have the same blood type from two people. It's mixed in our blood. Even 10,000 years, it didn't matter because we came from that seed and that egg of two people. So, like it or not, we are all brothers and sisters. We're all one family. So then you may ask the question, how can we fight each other? Why we can't get along? Well, just stay with me for a minute. I know you're hungry, so I'm not going to hold you too long. Because of something that occurred in the Garden of Eden that broke the tradition that God wanted to create in his family, because he created man and woman in his own image and likeness. Right? That's important, right? But something went wrong. I won't get into the details. But something went wrong, and something that they did created what we call now fallen nature. Many people say human nature. I've heard other people say, oh, why do you do like that? Why do you keep saying it? Well, it's just me, honey. It's just that's who I am. Right? It's just me. You don't like it? You ever heard that before? Right? No, it's not just you. I'm sorry to tell you, that's not true. It's just your fallen nature. Because the fall took place in a way that created this confusion, where we don't know who we are. You understand? This is very important. Now I'm going somewhere with this because you need to follow me just a little bit. Because we don't know who we are, we're denying the fact that we were created. We're denying the fact that we were created in the image and likeness of God if we entertain or become a part of fallen nature. Fallen nature are people who get angry with other people, drive-by shootings, road rage, you stepped on my toe, I don't like you, I hate you, why you say that to me? These kinds of language comes from fallen nature. I can't stand you. I don't like black people. I don't like white people. That comes from fallen. I can't stand Spanish. Oh Lord. That comes from fallen nature. Are you with me? Because if I'm your brother, you're my brother, how could I hate you? You and I got the same mama and daddy. We do. Right? Even though it was 6,000 years ago or more, we're still kin. We're still related. But then why we cannot love each other? What is the reason? What is the problem that we can't love each other? What is the problem that still some people don't like other people for what they said or did or who they are, where they came from, or the language they speak, or the country they came from? Right? So what do we need to do? This is important. Somehow our blood got tainted. or got contaminated. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, my brother. Our blood got contaminated by a false entity that came into Adam and Eve's situation. Now, the question is, and Japan is very famous for this, they want to know your blood type. They say, what's your blood type? And based on your blood type, they can tell your character. Right? Some people say, well, what's your sign? What's your zodiac sign? Based on your sign, they can tell your character and who you are. Right? And so in the process, when we are in our own hometown, back in the day, if somebody visited my house, my mother would say, who's your people? Where you come from? What's your mama's name? What's your daddy's name? You know? And then based on that, they knew who you were. They could, oh yeah, you can come on in. They could understand you okay. Now, you heard the testimony about something called a blessing. That's what I wanted to sing about, but it didn't work. It's your season to be blessed. That's what I wanted to sing to you. Because of this blessing, listen, I need your attention, because this is life-changing information. How many people here guess? How many guests we have in the house? Okay. How many have been here for the first time? It's your first time coming? Great. All. Thank you, Lord. So now I'm going to slow up, but this is important. He talked about the blessing and a so-called 3-day ceremony. God blessed them. It's in the Bible, if you don't believe me. And when they were blessed, he called them man. Women and husband and wife. He called them man. Or, in some Bibles, they call them Adam. After they were blessed. Not before. This is in this is in Genesis 5, verse 1 through 10. Write it down. Genesis 5, verse 1 through 10. And when they were blessed, they were now qualified to hold the title of man and woman. Man, husband and wife. So he talked about the blessing. What exactly is the blessing? Help me, Holy Ghost, because I got to get through this quickly. I don't want to waste words. When a man and a woman come together with God's permission, and with that, then you are able at that point to be married under a certain order. We call this order the blessing, but it really is a covenant. It's a covenant. It's a powerful covenant that you don't break. It's more furious than the 10 Commandments that Moses put together. It's a covenant that will last you through eternity. Unchanging. Now, once you come together and you drink of the holy wine, which someone will explain to you later, this holy wine, and you'll be sprinkled with holy water. You create a new birth. Jesus said you must be born again. So it creates a new birth through the water, and a changing, listen to this is earth-shaking, a changing of your blood lineage from a satanic fallen lineage to a holy divine lineage. It changes your blood. And you're no longer a regular person who walks the street. You are now a divine creature because you have divine blood running through your veins. Got it? That's important. This is not the Last Supper I'm talking about. We do the holy wine. This is serious. And that's why we give so much credit and appreciation and honor to the Reverend Dr. Sun Myung Moon and his wife, Dr. Hakshihan Moon, because Jesus Christ met with Reverend Moon when he was the age of 15 on the mountain of North Korea. Easter Sunday morning, the resurrection day, Jesus chose that day to give that commandment to Reverend Moon and anointed him to do this work. Somebody ought to clap their hands. In that anointing, at that moment, even Reverend Moon was changed from just a country boy to a disciple and a vanguard, and in the image and likeness of Jesus, he began this work. Somebody asked me one time when I was in the Bahamas, the minister, a friend of mine, he said to me, how can you follow Reverend Moon and Jesus too? It's a contradiction. I said, no, it's not. I said, you see, Jesus was the one that came and witnessed to me and told me to follow Reverend Moon. And I want to tell you something. So Reverend Moon is following Jesus. And when Jesus and Moses, Elijah, and all those prophets get to where they're going, Jesus, Reverend Moon, and I'm going to be right there too. So I can follow Reverend Moon because he's following an order that was created 6,000 years ago before he was on the earth. The same order. Now, let me get to the point that I'm going to sit down. How can we reach that same level of commitment? First of all, we got to stop hating on each other. That's the first thing. Because if you hate, if the hate is in your heart, in your blood, guess what's going to happen? When you get married, you're going to hate your spouse. Sooner or later. And next thing you know, you'll be divorced. Because he don't brush his teeth right, or he don't flush the toilet, or he snores when he sleeps, or he eats crazy, or he yells too much, or something. You'll find a reason to divorce. Love conquers all. Love overcomes all. And you don't really know a person. I don't care how many years you live together, unmarried, you don't really know a person until you get married. And all the negatives will come out. Well, that's good. Negative is good, isn't it? Yes, it is. Without negative and positive, you couldn't have light. So negative is good because then positive shows up every time a negative shows up. And once the positive shows up, it complements the negative, and you have what? Light, energy, power. But because of the lack of love, we have not learned to be a positive in the midst of a negative. And that is the truth. So this changing of the blood lineage creates a new race of people. Now I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it now. Hold on. There is no black in this room. There's no white in this room. There's no brown in this room. There's no Japanese in this room. If you have received the blessing, we are all one race of people. One race. One race. This is what God was creating. His race. His divine race. And with this race, we have more love and more power. We can change the world. With our children. Let me just say this and I'm going to sit down. A blessed central family is the title you want. And then from that, you will gain another title called Tribal Messiah. Because you're walking in the same footsteps of Jesus. And Reverend and Mrs. Because they have achieved this. Jesus said, you must be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Did you ever ask the question, why didn't Jesus say you must be perfect as I am perfect? He never said that. He said, as your Father in heaven is perfect. And I've been really praying to God to find out what you mean by perfect, because everybody has a different opinion of what perfection is. The Supreme Court have a different opinion. Barack Obama have a different opinion. T.D. Jakes have a different opinion. Everybody's got a different opinion of what perfection is. Right? Until they get in their car and the car won't work, and they say, this car is not perfect. Everybody can determine that, right? But God told me what perfection was in his eyes or her eyes is when you do the best you can do, it is perfect in God's eyesight. And nobody knows what is the best but you and God. When your little son or child come to you with a stick picture with a big watermelon head and eyes looking all crazy in that picture, and he said, look, mommy, this is you. And you take that picture, oh, this is so beautiful, and you put it on your refrigerator. To you, that's perfect. Because the kid did the best he could do. And you saw what? Progress. From to look, mom. Wow. I mean, he's not saying he's saying, look, mom. He's talking. Man, that's perfect. He was crawling, now he's walking, that's perfect. Because God is like that. And you know, I don't know if you had the opportunity to see some children, maybe, born with some defect or something like that. Moses had a defect, right? God didn't even notice. And he created them. Right? And we don't notice our children with a defect until somebody said, oh, why is one leg shorter than the other? Oh, I never noticed it. That's what happens. So, in my conclusion, all of us here, I don't know, maybe it's 100 people here. Give or take, 2 children or whatever. Do you know that 100 people can change the world? You know that? Every country having heroes who have changed the world a little bit. Mahatma Gandhi is one. Sojourner Truth is another. You might not know who she is. Martin Luther King. You all know about Martin Luther King. And Mother Teresa. These people, one person can change the world. That's why you were called a tribal Messiah. Now, that first means that what you want to do is get more education on what this tribal Messiahship is. Because it's a gift to you. It's a powerful gift. It'll change your life. It'll bring you good fortune. It will bring you good fortune. You will be successful in whatever you're trying to do if you are blessed. And if you're not blessed, you'll do the best you can. You'll have some level of success. But when it's all said and done, Like yesterday, my dear brother Prince died. When it's all said and done, what will you be famous for? What will you be remembered for? Ask yourself that question. None of us in here have any less qualities in us than any great man, including Jesus and Reverend Moon, and any great person. None of us have less qualities. We have the same stuff in us that all great people have. Same stuff. And it's amazing. Love is the key. Get together, serve each other, love each other. Now I'm going to give you the last thing and I'm going to sit down. Reverend Moon created something called living for the sake of others. Say it with me. Living for the sake of others. That's what the planets do. The birds do that. But human beings, we don't understand that. So we have to learn first, before we can learn to live for the sake of others, we have to learn how to live for the sake of each other. You got it? Living for the sake of each other. Say it with me. Let's live for the sake of each other until we learn how to live for the sake of others. God bless you. Thank you.